Welcome, I'm Lizzie Brooks and this is Lizzie Brooks Yoga and Fitness. Today's video is a little bit of a different type of a topic than my normal yoga and fitness videos, but I just feel like the information that I recently learned is so important, and I want to make sure that I share it with other parents and other caregivers if you ever have to bring your child to the emergency room. I hope you never have to, but if you do, I hope that you have watched this video. Thank you so much, and let me get into it a little bit. So on Thanksgiving 2020, in 2020 fashion, my son was skateboarding and he broke his arm in 2 places, and he ended up needing surgery. So I've written a list. This is 14 things, and I think they're all extremely important. So if you want to take notes, grab a pen and a piece of paper or your device and take some notes. The first thing that I wish I had done was after my son broke his arm, we were in such a hurry. I gave him some Advil just to try to get an anti-inflammatory in there and to help with the pain. We put a magazine, wrapped it around his arm. My husband did that, and we just kind of put the dogs out real fast and then we left. In hindsight, we still could have been very fast about getting out the door, but we should have packed a bag. Please pack a bag. And you might not think of everything, and that's okay. But if you have a change of clothes, some deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, snacks from your house, because Lord knows there's not going to be a lot of options when you go to the hospital and you might be staying overnight. This is the whole thing. When we were rushing our son there, it was about 6:15 in the evening, and it didn't pop into our heads that surgery might have to happen and that we were going to stay overnight. So even if you think you're not going to stay overnight, pack a bag on the off chance that you will stay the night. You will be very happy that you had some of those things. And grab a creature comfort. Grab a teddy bear, grab your kid's favorite blankie, something that brings them comfort, because they're going through trauma, and to have that touchstone is really important. And then really, maybe even more important than that, is to leave a key somewhere. If you don't have a key outside of your residence, either give one to a neighbor or place one somewhere that you can say, hey guys, the key is there, just in case you need someone to help get you something from the home, or if you have pets and maybe it's just you and your kid, or maybe it's you and your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But if you're both there, who takes care of the pets, right? So you're going to need someone to do that, or maybe someone to get something and bring it to the hospital to you. So that was kind of 1 and 2. 3 is don't let the people, the doctors and the nurses tell you, or tell your kid rather, what the actual plan is until that plan is concrete. Until everyone who needs to see the X-rays, everyone who needs to palpitate or take a look has taken a look. So, because what happens is when you tell the kid, they start to prepare for one thing, and then if that changes, then they're like, wait, what's going on? And everyone's under stress. It's very confusing. So I had a doctor come in and say, okay, after seeing the X-ray, we're going to just give you some ketamine. You'll have a very weird dream, and then we're gonna, set it and then put a cast on and that kind of thing. And I said, because I had seen the X-ray at that point, which was gnarly, and I said, are you sure are you sure that's the plan? He said, yeah, 99% of these things, that's a plan. I said, let's not make any promises yet. An hour later, he comes back, oh, buddy, I'm so sorry. Actually, we are going to need to do surgery. After they've already talked about how what they're doing is way better than the surgery option, now they're telling him they have to do surgery. It's just a lot for a child to prepare for, or an adult. And so I think make sure that if a child is involved, you get it set in stone. They know it's happening before they start to prepare them for X, Y, or Z. Okay. No looking at X-rays. So I, on the thumbnail, am going to show the X-ray of my child's arm, which is as the surgeon said, a very bad break. So the radius and the ulna are broken, and the two kind of fell in and split open the other ones. There was a lot of soft tissue damage and things like that. And one of the doctors came in and said, oh, hey buddy, let me just show you what your arm looks like. Let me show you your break. I had to get in front of this doctor and say, no. We're not gonna show this X-ray to this child whose pain out of 10 is at an 11. If you are already, even if you have no pain and you look at an X-ray like that, it makes you feel squeamish. It's like it makes you weak in the knees. Do not show those type of things to someone who is already in major trauma and already scared and freaked out. If they want to see it later when they're already healing and they're not in pain, that's okay. But sometimes doctors, they're not thinking. I think they're so used to these things, they don't realize that it can contribute to a trauma response. Fentanyl and morphine, this is number 5, can itch, among other drugs. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're having a reaction to it, but my poor kid was so itchy with the fentanyl for hours. Mom, he couldn't move his arm. He's like, itch my nose, itch my head, itch my knee, itch my cheek, and it just went on for hours, and it was like almost just, no, it wasn't as bad as the pain, but it was really irritating to have to deal with on top of the pain. So just know that maybe the patient isn't having an actual reaction, which was what I was afraid of, that it was an allergic reaction, but that those can itch. Advocate for yourself if it's you, advocate for your child. Ask a billion questions. While the medical community is wonderful and helpful, it's not foolproof. There were times when one person breezed in and told us one plan, left, someone else breezed in and told us another plan. It was sometimes difficult to get on the same page. Ask questions, make sure, and say, I'm not sure if that's actually the case because someone else just came in and said, can you please double check that, triple check that? And you're under so much stress seeing your child go through this that's not at our peak ability to remember things. So write notes down. You will think you're gonna remember certain things, you won't remember. Write down some questions to ask, write down notes, write down medication names, all of this kind of stuff so that you have it in front of you and it's easy to recall it because you can read it. Okay, so in order to make your child feel more comfortable when they're dealing with all of this pain is get physical with them. So if they like their feet rubbed or their calves, if they like tickles on their legs or on their other arm or on their scalp, whatever is comforting to them as far as physical touch, add that on because it helps distract from only having, so my son who broke his left arm and he's left dominant, the brain is just going right to the pain, right to the pain. And if you can give them some other sensation to focus on, it can be helpful. Is it going to fix the problem with the pain? No. Can it be helpful? Yes. Same thing with breathing. So number 11, I'm not kind of telling you everyone that I'm doing, but there will be 14 total. Breathing. So breathing calms the nervous system down. Obviously, when you're in pain, you are in a severe response of fight or flight. Your parasympathetic nervous system, you're not in it. So if you can try to just maybe inhale, count of 4 or 5, exhale, count of 4 or 5, and try to show your child that you are breathing like that and see if they can start to just mimic it. So even if they're not, even if you can try to breathe that way, it'll be better for you, and then you'll appear and feel calmer to them. This one should go without saying. Thank your doctors and nurses. They're working so hard. Who knows what shift they're on? Thank them. This is really important. These last two are so super important. Number 13, be strong in the moment and break down later. So I think they're both important, the being strong and the breaking down. If you are not in your breath and you are freaking out and this only creates this energy that your child picks up on. And when they're going through enough, and if they see you freaking out, it's only gonna make them feel less grounded, less stable, less like, okay, this parent has it under control for me at least. So Be strong in the moment, and then later allow yourself, get in that bath, have a glass of wine, talk it out with your friends, your family. Give yourself a good cry or more. You've been through trauma as a caretaker, so make sure that you strong in the moment, let it go later. And that's where the last one comes in, and there's actually one more I'll add in later, but after this is process your emotions, process your child's emotions with them. Even if they need a source of someone else to process with afterwards. They have been through physical trauma and emotional trauma. That, just being in a hospital, those fluorescent lights, just the coldness to it, I mean, it's just a weird, crazy thing, and they haven't seen most of this stuff. All the people rushing in and out, all of that horrendous pain that they've never felt anything maybe like that before. They're gonna need to talk about it, and they might not ask you, so it might be nice for you to say, do you wanna talk about it? What was scary to you? What made you feel comfortable? What nurse did you think, did you like the best? Even you can ask things that aren't necessarily about the trauma, but that just get them talking about it and get them into integrating it and processing it through and processing it out. And just explaining that they have been through trauma. And even with surgery, even if they got put under, their body still went through that. My son has said to me, Mom, I feel like crying or I feel upset and I don't know why. I don't have a reason to be. And I said, you do have a reason to be. And let's talk about those reasons, and let's work them out. And then, okay, so these, look at these beauties. Okay, everyone's getting bracelets. The patient is getting a lot of bracelets for different things, like they're a fall risk, what they might be allergic to, their birthday, who they are. Someone will come in and keep scanning that to make sure that they're dealing with the correct patient. You and your partner, if you have a partner, will also wear one that connects you to. Make sure they are not put on too tight. Okay, so that will bother the patient. Just little things like that will bother the patient, and they'll bother you. And sometimes, you're sweating, you're stressed out, something really tight around your wrist, getting some sweat under there, that's gonna really annoy you. So make sure that these little puppies, you're dealing with enough as it is, make sure these are not put on too tight. And then the other thing that was really cool is that I just wanted to point out that Dell Children's Hospital gave this to my son before he went into surgery and had 2 titanium rods put down the center of his 2 bones, with also a giant incision at the top. So they gave him this, and my child, who is almost 13, didn't say, oh, I don't want that. He said, oh, can I keep it? Because we need comforting things when we're going through this. And we're all kind of back to being, a child when we're going through this. We just want comforting things. So that was really a lovely thing that they did. And the other thing, is he asked for peppermint oil because he was feeling nauseous, and I didn't have it, but Dell Children's actually had peppermint oil, which was just so lovely. So that's something else you could throw in your bag. Any something like that, just smells that make a person feel more comforted, things that they attribute to better times. So those are what I have for now. And I really hope that you never have to go to the ER, but I really hope that this helps if you ever have to. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day.